Your Town Matters is funded by the Government of Canada through the Local Journalism Initiative and supported by Cactus Media, Canada's independent community television association.
I'm Vicki Hogarth and welcome to Your Town Matters. My guest today is the Mayor of Eastern Charlotte, John Craig. Thank you so much for joining me again today, John.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. The last time I was here, I think if you watched any of the shows, it was snowing. So here we are. It's finally we get to the month of May and everything's warmed up. Summer's here, I think.
And we have some exciting news to start off with, which is the progress on the childcare facility that's coming to Eastern Charlotte. This is big news. Yep. I believe that it goes out to tender this winter, November, December. Let's talk a little bit about. Yeah,
I've got all kinds of notes here because I got so many things in it, and there's so many different things going on that I don't want to mess up on some of the details. I may refer to them every so often, but it is good news for our area. We've been working on it for some time for the child care building. Eastern Charlotte is going to supply the property and the water and sewage for the building, so that's part of our donation, plus we'll be putting some money towards it as well. Most of the money will be coming from the federal and provincial governments, and the YMCA will be helping as well too. So if the price comes in quite high, they're going to help fundraise, so they'll be able to find get the difference. So we're pulling the trigger. We're going to try to get this done, and the expectation is for March of next year, 26, for the ground to be broken and for them to start working on it. So it's good news for Eastern Charlotte. It's good news because a lot of the families will be able to go after that federal program where it's $10 a day to send your child to these daycares, and so that will be great for the families, and it's also good for the businesses of the area too, because now the people don't have to have the excuse, I can't come to work because I have nobody to take care of little Susie, little Johnny at home, so they'll be able to have a place for the kids to go to. And I can say it's a good news too, because it may entice some families to have more children, because $10 a day for my child to go there, maybe I can afford to have another child or two. So I'm just throwing it out there that if somebody wants to have a bigger family, that's going to be a big help as well too. So.
And the location is around Geo-Spinney Drive.
That's right. It's on the same property area up there as Macadamic. It's not going to be part of the Macadamic building. It's going to be separate from that. You got the ball field up there. You got the splash pad up there. You got the basketball courts and all that stuff going on. So we own all that property up there. So there's a big piece of property still available, and that's where that's going to be built up there. So that's, you can say, we're going to be given the land for this. You have to remember that childcare is not a mandate for municipal government. It's a mandate for provincial. But we realize this as a local government that is important. It's very important that this happen, and if we don't become part of the solution here, it won't happen. So we are going to do what we can and to make sure that does happen. So the council is very excited about it. YMCA is very, very excited, but YMCA are going to be we'll be owning the building, but they'll be running the show sort of thing. It's up to them to do all the whatever it takes to hire the people and that sort of thing too. We just own the physical asset. And
we know from hearing from Paige Scott from the YMCA just what a great job they've done in terms of bringing people from the community into the YMCA program. She's expecting about 7,000 visitors at the Eastern Charlotte YMCA this year.
Yeah, we've had a great working relationship with YMCA. They did a lot of the programming and stuff for down the summer camps and the weekly programming for different levels, not just for kids, but for babies and that sort of thing too. So we say they've done a great job for us. Now this is the next step along the line. So we're very excited about this happening.
And to give people an idea of about just how big this facility will be, I think at the last council meeting you mentioned it's 82 spaces in total,
Yes.
52 for I think it's under 5-year-olds, and 30 spaces for after
That's where I brought my papers.
All right, I'll let you get to the data then.
And you'll find out later on, folks, that there's so many different things we're going to talk about today that I have to have papers because there's so many details here. But yes, as Vicki was saying, 82 spaces, 52 are designated for 1 to 5 years of age, and 30 will be for the 5 to 12 years of age. So that it's going to be a good sized building, and to be able to do that, and we're very fortunate to be able to move ahead with that. And say we're partnering with the YMCA and to make this happen.
And it's wonderful because I think I can even remember back to public comment period sometime this year. Glenn Hawkins, a resident of Eastern Charlotte, brought up I think it was a doctor who was having trouble finding childcare
That's
space.
right,
So
exactly.
I know again it's not a municipal responsibility necessarily, but it does show council really listening to the feedback of the community
Sure.
and doing the work that you need to provide.
Yeah, it's going to be a good sized building, and hopefully a local contractor will bid for it, and I'm sure they are. I think they're watching this, and sometimes when you get local contractors too, you get better prices as well too. So that's what we're hoping for as well too, to try to keep the price down. We know that the building is going to range anywhere from 1.2 to 3.2 million dollars, so it's in that ballpark. So if it comes in very high, we may have to go back to the province and the federal government to see if we can get more money and to get us over the finish line. But we're quite confident now that we can do it, and so we're not going to wait any longer. We're just going to move ahead and get it done.
So we should look for shovels in the ground in the spring, but out to tender around November, December.
That's right, exactly. That's right.
I want to talk a little bit about the YMCA as well. We heard this wonderful presentation from Paige Scott about the incredible work they're doing in the community, not just in terms of involving the youth and young people, childcare, but also involving seniors, all different ages in terms of a lot of the activities and programs that they have available. She said she's on track to have over 7,000 people use the programs this year. What's your impression of the work they've been doing in the community, and how that's really also helped build community in the newly amalgamated Eastern Charlotte?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. If you talk to the ones that actually go there and use it from different age groups, we're very fortunate to have the YMCA there doing this sort of thing. So unfortunately, the bad news is that we're losing Paige Scott. We have lost Paige Scott. When this gets aired, she'll be officially gone. She took on a new role, a new job somewhere, but the YMCA will be hiring somebody else to fill that position. So we're quite confident the YMCA will find somebody. Probably never as good as Paige, but hopefully whoever goes in there has got pretty big shoes to fill. But the YMCA will make sure somebody's there and keep this going. And it's great for the. I know the Councillor Dedirakis, for example, she uses the YMCA. She has a young child, so she's there and uses it quite a bit. So she speaks very highly of it, and like I say, we want to keep this going because it's great for the community. People don't realize that this kind of gels everybody together. It's a service that keeps people in the community.
Yes, Councillor Dedirakis was mentioned. She's a 1-year-old son, so she's been using that for everything from childcare to activities. And I think Paige Scott even mentioned that they were working on a lot of programs for people that might work your typical 9 to 5 during the week. So there'd be even some available to bring those people into the YMCA community that might have a Monday to Friday day job and not get to take advantage of all the programs.
That's right.
You have some more exciting news, though. We're not talking exactly about YMCA, but this is sports related, and I want to let you take the lead on this because it's extremely exciting, not just for Eastern Charlotte, but also Charlotte County in general when it comes to sports. And
I brought my papers along because there's a lot. This just got announced yesterday, and the NCDC Hockey League announced that there's going to be 5. It's a 5-team league that's been announced, and I don't know if you can see this right here. Maybe I'll show this up to the camera. There we go. And this is on our website. It's on our Facebook page as well too. And it got announced yesterday. So Eastern Charlotte actually gets a hockey team. St. Stephen gets a hockey team. Woodstock, Presque Isle, Maine, and Quebec City. So there'll be 5 teams will be playing against each other. Now these are junior level hockey, junior level hockey. There'll be students brought in probably from different countries. They'll bring in to fill they have to try out for the team, and they'll be brought in, and these students, these players will be part of the school system. So the Eastern Charlotte team will be going to the Fundy High, so they have to go to school. They have their practices out of Eastern Charlotte, and they also want them to become part of the community. Now, one of my jobs today is to get it out there too that we're looking for billets for people, for places for these hockey players to live in. So if you're out there and you got an extra room in your house, or you want to become part of the future for hockey in Eastern Charlotte, if you have a room in your house, you want to billet one of these students and become part of your family, also part of the community. They want the students to become part of the community, to be involved with different things and part of the family activities as well too. And I think there is some pay that will go to the person that takes care of them, and you have to feed them and take care of them. But some of these players may end up in the NHL. That's how elite this league is going to be. They're bringing in players that going to be very competitive. They have to try out to be on the team. So it's very exciting news for Eastern Charlotte, for our arena in Blacks Harbour, to be and the rivalry between St. Stephen and Eastern Charlotte. There's always been a rivalry between the two communities. The mayor, Alan McEachran, will be really pushing for his team. I'll be pushing for my team, and I think Eastern Charlotte will probably end up giving them a little opportunity. Like, we'll probably pull our goalie in the third period to give them a chance to win, because St. Stephen doesn't usually have a good team. So, we'll do stuff like that but we want to build that rivalry up between the two communities. And
I like that you're starting strong now with the rivalry. Yes. It's a challenge to Mayor McEachran to get in the ring with you. And I don't know who I'm going to root for.
You can make your case right now. It's good news for the community. These students, actually players, will probably end up or could end up in the NHL or part of an NHL part of their franchise. So it's exciting for us to be part of this, and to be named as one of the areas. We've been sitting on this for a while. We had to wait for the league to announce it, and Councillor Adam Hatt has been really the one really pushing hard for this, and it's been hard not to say too much out there, because we had to wait for the league to say it. But if anybody's looking, has a place we can billet these, either get a hold of me or Councillor Adam Hatt, and you just send us your name, and we'll make sure you put it on the list to be able to have one of these hockey players stay in your home for the winter. And
I can say from experience with my family, my Uncle Jim and Aunt Lim in St. Stephen, when the Aces were in town, they had billets, and they were a part of that, and they were really sad to see it go. It was really, it felt like it grew their family, and they really loved and enjoyed the experience so much. I got to go over to have dinner with the hockey players many times, and it was a really beautiful experience. And also having that aspect in the community of these games that take on a different level of excitement, and the players also mentor a lot of the kids from the community too. So what do you think it'll do in terms of building community, not just Eastern Charlotte, but Charlotte County?
We're talking to the different the owners of the hockey team, and they want the players to become part of the community. So if there's something going on, they're going to send the players to that. So say it could be where they're trying to raise money for the food bank or something like that. They want the team to be there. Whatever's going on in the community, they want them to be part of the community. So it's a positive story. They want the kids not to be in trouble. They keep them busy the whole time. So they'll get them down to Blacks Harbour for their hockey practices and that sort of thing too. So it's good news. It's going to build so much more life into that building. That building's got a lot of life anyway. But this is even going to build it even more, so it's going to be great to see that building filled at all times. Like I say, I'm always pushing for that arena because it's good for the local economy as well too. I went to the Chamber of Commerce their annual meeting the other last week, and I said to them, I need their help. Because when we put money towards the arena, we always get people saying, I don't use the arena, why do we put in so much money? But the spin-offs from that building in the wintertime for all the local businesses in the area, that's a major plus for the area. If you drive around any weekend when there's a hockey tournament going on, the restaurants are full, people are staying at hotels, they're getting gas, they're stopping at local stores and shopping. even though you may not use it, you may have a relative working in one of those businesses that need money, and the spin-off from that is really, really good for our area. So it's not just for hockey, but it's the spin-off to bring people into our area. At the time of the year when you need it the most. Wintertime is slow everywhere, as you know, but when you get a big push for, all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of people come for a hockey tournament or even curling, for example, St. George, they have a curling arena over there too, so it brings people to the area. So it's not only good for the physical part of it and the mental health, but it's also good for the spin off in the local economy, which needs that money.
Very good point. And I also think too, in terms of amalgamation, especially with Eastern Charlotte, where you really geographically had one of the, if not the biggest area in the province to amalgamate, that for community spirit and really making people feel, hey, we're all a part of Eastern Charlotte, this might have such a positive impact too. The way we're still sometimes seeing ourselves as separate in the way we were prior to amalgamation.
That's right.
This might have a wonderful impact on community spirit.
We say, even as councillors, when you get elected, you're there to do what's good for the whole area. You're not, even though it's a ward system, you're not there just to take care of your ward. You're there to do what's good for the whole pie, I guess you call it the whole thing. You got to do what's best for the whole area. So that's one thing. Sometimes councillors, no, I'm not saying that my council does, but sometimes I see it in different communities. They lose the focus, and they have to do what's good for the whole community.
I'm going to make a cheesy pun and say, and paving a way for an even brighter future. We have some other good news in terms of paving this summer, and this is all over Eastern Charlotte. Tell us a little bit about some of the roads.
There's going to be 5 major paving jobs this coming up this summer, and I can announce them now. It's Main Street East in St. George. It's going to be paved. We're going to have the Brunswick Street, St. George. That portion is going to be paved. In Blacks Harbour, Hospital Street is going to be paved. Back to St. George again, Campbell Hill Road, and then Granite Street. Those are the ones that were pinpointed by council to be done this year. Now, there's some other ones that are on the docket for next year, and so don't give up hope. And I know Councillor Dedirakis was last night in one of her meetings. She was talking about some streets in behind the credit union on that side. There's some crumbling streets, and we know that. And she's brought that to make sure our council knows that. So if there's money left over to do little smaller streets after these are done, we're going to try to either do it this year or next year. We haven't forgotten about it. So this is very, very important because these streets have been neglected for so long, and so the streets are crumbling in front of us. So we want to make sure that these get done this year. So that's that price tag on the paving for this year is $680,000. So council is very determined to get this done, and so we're spending $680,000 just in those five streets in the area. So 1 in Blacks Harbour and then 4 others in the St. George area.
Another ongoing issue that we've been following for a while is water quality in Blacks Harbour. I know last council meeting, it was pretty much, it was unanimous that council decided this is something we really have to make front and center.
Absolutely.
Something we have to get control of. I know it's been about a year, if not longer, that we've been covering the water quality. What's next on the horizon? What's the next step?
Yeah, the council considers this a #1 priority. I mean, everything else we talked about today, from childcare to paving to hockey team, really, at the end of the day, the Blacks Harbour water is the #1 issue. So we've been working with the engineering company, so council has asked that the engineering company come and do a full presentation at the next council meeting, which is next week.
This will be the May council meeting.
May 21st. So if you can't get there to listen to it, I know that
find it on the CHCO YouTube page. It's always there. I'll share it on my Facebook as well.
Exactly.
But yes, again, you can watch that council meeting anytime on the television channel too.
Yeah. So On Globe will be there, and they're going to do a full presentation of what they're done and what they're working on, and put some timelines out there so they can let people know exactly where it's at. I know it's been people wondering what's going on, so that's the reason council is very concerned about that. So we want to make sure that we're being transparent and letting people know what's going on. So On Globe, the company that's been hired to work on this, it's going to be up to them next week to do that presentation. So that's I guess we'll kind of leave it at that for today, and let them do the announcing next week.
For sure. Then we can sit down and talk about that meeting in detail next time we sit down together. I would love to give Councillor Adam Hatt, who represents Blacks Harbour, a shout out for his ongoing attention to this issue. He's even brought water to meetings in the past to show the difference between what they're getting in Blacks Harbour versus other parts of Eastern Charlotte.
Yeah, actually, I live down there as well myself. So people realize that I'm in Blacks Harbour too, so I drink the water, I shower in it too. So it is I could say a top priority for the whole council. Even though that some of the other councils don't live there, they still feel it is a top priority. So. So this is where they all feel that they're looking at the big picture of what's good for Eastern Charlotte. What's good for Blacks Harbour is going to be good for all Eastern Charlotte here.
I want to point out something too that we've noticed thanks to Eastern Charlotte Council meetings, and really this is one of the wonderful reasons to follow council so closely, is that sometimes you can garner data from these meetings and see that there's a rise in medical calls that the fire department is responding to in Eastern Charlotte, which points to a bigger problem of Ambulance New Brunswick not responding as quickly as we would like in rural parts of the province. But shine a little light on what's going on and what will happen going forward.
Well, I think everybody in the province of New Brunswick knows that Ambulance New Brunswick ambulances aren't close to the communities, especially in the rural areas. We consider the rural areas, it's a vast area. I mean, you look at Eastern Charlotte, look at the map and see how big we are. around 8,000 people, but it's a big geography area. The ambulances, and even if you talk to Mayor Cogswell, his job is, he works for Ambulance New Brunswick. He'd be one of the first ones to say, the ambulances are so far away. Like, you could be 10, 15, could be 20 minutes away. Well, if you're having a heart attack at your house, you're going to die. Simple as that. So we're very fortunate. We have a full-time fire chief, Justin Johnson, and he's trained he has a paramedic training, and so he's hired as a fire chief for Eastern Charlotte. So he's basically, if there's a major item, as they say, they consider heart or whatever it may be, it's not a stub toe or anything like that, but something what you call a real emergency, he's going to be the first person coming to your house because he's full-time. He jumps in the vehicle. He's the first response. He has a first response vehicle. He can get to your house. He can start working on you while we're waiting for the ambulance to get there. He probably would be the person that's going to save most people's lives in Eastern Charlotte because he's available at all times to take that call and be there. So we're very, very lucky to have somebody like that trained to be able to do that. And the cost of it may cost a little bit of money, but the thing is, you save one life. Save your life, save my life, or anybody else. One life, that's worth every penny you put into this. So we have to do it until Ambulance New Brunswick is able to do what they were intended to do originally. It was supposed to have ambulances in every community, but they don't do that anymore. We know that. That's a fact of life. So we have to work around that and making sure that I'm not gonna spend the next 5 years fighting that and not doing anything about it. At least from now, at our level, we can do something about it and try to save lives until the government and province of New Brunswick changes something there. So we can't change that real fast, but we can certainly help save lives.
I know Natalie Sturgeon from CHCO and the Courier has been doing some wonderful work following that, thanks to your council meeting. So I know she's on Ambulance New Brunswick and trying to get data to illuminate it further and hopefully put some pressure on to change the status of how things are done.
For sure. No, like I say, we might as well be honest. Like I say, Ambulance New Brunswick, and even if you talk to I'm not picking on the ambulance drivers. It's not them. It's the ones. It's the system. They get pulled out and go in different directions, and next thing you know, they're 20, 30 minutes away from the area, and that's 20, 30 minutes. It's a long time when you're waiting just for a defibrillator to save your life.
Well, we are coming to the last few minutes of the show, and this is not my first rodeo with Mayor John Craig on the couch, so I know to always leave some time for your shout-outs to the community. Tell us a little bit about who is celebrating in the near future and who you'd like to shine a light on.
Yeah, I had to write all these down because we had so many of this since the last time I've been here. But it's almost like anybody who there's a whole bunch of people who turned 90 this past month or so, and they all look great. I went to one lady in Back Bay, and I thought I had the wrong house. and I walked in and I said, can you tell me where Cynthia Levitt is? She said, that's me. I said, yo. I said, she looked like she may have been her 70s when she turned 90. She looked awesome. And so Cynthia Levitt, a big shout out to Cynthia Levitt. Mary Richardson named Blacks Harbour. turned 90. Clara McDowell lives in St. George. Lester McKay, I always call him the Mayor Lester McKay because he's the godfather up in Penfield. I always show him total respect because he's a great guy, and him and his wife Millie they're still doing very well up in Penfield. He just turned 90, and like I say, Cynthia Levitt was the other one. Oh, and Ted Hatt. People, and I mentioned Ted Hatt because Ted Hatt, everybody thinks Ted Hatt's from St. Andrews. Well, he's not originally from over here. He's from over our eastern Charlotte area, so he knows he knows more people. Ted Hatt knows more people in all Charlotte County because he has so many roots over the Penfield area, the Blacks Harbour area. He taught in different schools and that sort of thing too. So Ted just turned 90 as well too. So I want to congratulate every one of them. And I got one lady who's originally from the Blacks Harbour area. She's in St. Stephen at the moment. She's waiting to get back into Blacks Harbour. Gladys Gadet turned 97 this past month. So a big shout out to Gladys Gadet because we're very fortunate to have people like that, who's probably the oldest ones still living in the Blacks Harbour area. So we're very fortunate to have her. And I also want to send out sympathies to and this has been a while ago. This happened a while ago, but we lost Stan Smith, the former mayor of St. George. He was the longest serving mayor of St. George for 16 years. So we lost Stan. He passed away. And then the other person I want to for the family send out sympathies to is Bob Lee, our MLA, Ian Lee, his father, Bob Lee. Bob was a former councillor in St. George and a former deputy mayor of St. George. So send out sympathies to all the families there as well too. So.
Well, I always appreciate the way you bring community into everything you do, John. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, and I look forward to having you back soon.
Good. Time's up already?
Time's up already.
Oh my God, I've been enjoying myself so much here.
Thank you for being here. My guest today has been the Mayor of Eastern Charlotte, John Craig. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Your Town Matters.